My vocab center is on context clues, and the standards that I picked are determine or clarify the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words and phrases based on grade 1 reading and content, choosing flexibility from an array of strategies, and use sentence level context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase. And this is appropriate for first grade, and the title of the activity is just context clue matching. So context clues are hints about the meaning of an unknown word that are provided in the words, phrases, and sentences that surround the word. Context clues include definitions, restatements, examples, or descriptions. Because students learn most word meanings indirectly or from context, it is important that they learn to use context clues effectively. The teacher or whoever's doing this will create a set of 40 or so matching cards. It just kind of depends on if you want to do like partners or like group activity or just like small group activity. They're gonna make 40 matching cards, and I'll show them in a second if it makes more sense to use to practice context clues. Each card has the word used in a sentence and then a definition card. The students are to practice matching the word in the sentence with the definition on a different card. And once students complete their deck, they can trade with a partner around them if they're doing partner work, or again, it depends on how you're doing it. So the materials needed will just be these, like you can laminate the cards and you can use them multiple times. So I'll show you. So like I just did mine on index cards, but they can be like printed and like cut out, and you can make multiples of like the same. You can just like do copies, so it would be easier, and laminate them so then like each student can have their own little deck maybe. And that could even just be great practice whenever they have free time to practice doing it. But so for example, there can be different differentiation for like students with different abilities. So for students who are struggling, they can have decks with simpler sentences, smaller sentences, and easier like sight words, vocab words, or like more tier 1 words. For students who are excelling, their decks can have more complicated or compound sentences with tier 2 or tier 3 vocab words. So for example, this is one that has a sentence on it, and it has like the word that you're trying to match with underline. So it says, I will change my clothes tonight. And this would be more of just like an easy one. And then they would try to find the definition that matches with it. So the definition for change is like to make something different. So those two would go together. This one is, I had some of the birthday cake. This would maybe be more of a simpler one because some is definitely a sight word. And then they could find a part of a whole of a number or of something. So those two would go together and they'd match it. And then the sentence, I was walking along the river on the sand and then moving in a direction on a certain path, and those would go together. And after they go through the whole thing, if they're working like by themselves, if they had different decks, they could trade them, or if they were the same decks and like they did it if that was what they were doing in their free time. And yeah, it's just a super simple activity, but really helps them practice either their sight words or just like context clues and words, and that can directly affect their reading.